Hello, my soulpreneur goddesses. Welcome to today's video. This super juicy topic on the energetics of money and the food that we put in our bodies. How they are so linked. How they're so similar with each other. And I know this is a topic that I have never seen on this platform, and I have never seen anyone talk about money in such a juicy way like that. And me coming from a fitness coach who is devoted on helping entrepreneurial women amplify abundance in their bodies through creating that magical transformation, physical transformation in their bodies, which translates into that energetic transformation as well, and which would of course then amplify the abundance in your business, your wealth. It is coming to you from this perspective. So yes, this juicy topic on how they are so linked. If you are an entrepreneur and if you are on a journey of creating wealth, that it may be exciting for you, because how you feel about one thing can also affect how you feel about the other. So usually entrepreneurs think that if we were to amplify the wealth in our business, we think that our health takes the wayside, is in the back burner. But the truth is, when you also heal your relationship with your food, it will also help you amplify so much in your wealth as well. And vice versa, if you are someone who is just so magnetically abundant with your wealth, you can translate that success onto the relationship with the food and the success in making this transformation on your body. So yes, I am going to be sharing with you such fundamental ways on how they are energetically so linked together. So the first way, when it comes to almost any transformation in life, is most people think that, especially in the fitness realm, we think that the transformation in our bodies happen through restriction. We think that the definitions that we have in our bodies, us building this toned and those feminine curves, most people have this really skewed perspective that our diet is supposed to be restrictive if we were to create those toned curves. We think that we gotta eat less, and we think it is about contraction. We think our meal plans are supposed to be very little, like we're only supposed to. Most people think eating healthy, it's just about eating green juices and salads and eating the boring thing over and over again. But the truth is, the strength that I have in my body, the strength, the energy, and that feeling of abundance, that feeling of so much transformation and having so much muscle and also toneness and feeling so good inside out, that comes up when I actually ate more. I know it seems paradoxical. It may seem paradoxical, but the results came in when I started eating more. Isn't that insane? And I feel so much more healthier, both physically, both mentally, and spiritually with eating more. And of course, that eating more comes to making more conscious decisions about the food choices eating more carbohydrates, especially complex carbohydrates like rice or beans or potatoes, you know, eating a lot of them, and also eating a lot of protein, especially those two. Like eating more of these actually translates into having more energy in my workouts. And if you have more energy in your workouts, what's happened is your workouts results, your strength is better in there. You make more progress, not just physically in the gym, but also on your body as well. You make more transformation. And that is such a paradoxical, it's this block that most people think about health and fitness, but actually when you are not afraid of, you know, gaining unnecessary fat, when you actually let go of it and you step into actually take that leap into having more abundance, eating more, right? Having more energy. That is when the magic happens. That is when the magic happens. And the same way when it comes to money as well, is that on my entrepreneurial journey, as I am building my business, I noticed that the abundance comes in when I invested in myself. Instead of restricting, you know, most people think if you were to create wealth, you need to restrict where you put your money in. You gotta just spend very little, which may work for some people, but just like how the way you eat in your fitness journey, just like how you eat, just like the food, the same for your business. When you are actually putting in that money, instead of like restricting and being in that contraction state, when you're actually in that state of abundance, and when you're investing in things that really aligns with your heart and your soul, that is also when we see that transformation. Like what goes out also reflects back to us, even like could be even 10 times, because really aligned investment make us richer. Aligned investment makes us richer. And therefore, it is all about alignment. When it comes to food too, you gotta choose things that are more aligned to your health, for your body, for the sake of your body. When we choose more of these, right, from a place of abundance, it also comes back to us tenfold. And the same, hello, my loves. Hello. And the same for the wealth. When we are taking more aligned investment, putting it into aligned places, things that really align with our body, our life, our business, when all of these things align together as one, that is when we see that magic, when we see that transformation in our business, in our wealth journey, in our money journey. And the next important piece about how the energetics of food and energetics of money is linked is when we go on, let's say like splurging. Let's say you splurge on food, okay, right? You maybe sometimes get emotional and you eat junk food, or sometimes you get so like tantalized by the sweet and salty and the processed food, the chips and the burgers and all of that. Like when we are so stressed, it is so easy to get into that cycle of unhealthy eating behavior. And that unhealthy eating behavior is when we're eating because we are experiencing some lack, because we are experiencing some sadness, some fear, some guilt, right? Shame about our food journey. Some people are like, they feel shame about how they're eating, therefore they blunt it even more with eating more bad food. That's how some people kind of deal with it. That's one way of like a survival mechanism. And some other people deal with they deal with boredom, and therefore they think that if you just eat some sweet food, some savory food that you can readily buy it in anywhere, those lots of sugars, lots of salt, and all of that processed food. They think that it's going to heal their boredom. They think that it's going to heal those negative emotions that they're feeling, whether it could be boredom. When you look from an emotional frequency scale, it could be anything from boredom to stress to like guilt or shame. If you're experiencing any of it, most people are using food as a way to blunt your emotions. So like that, we gotta be really conscious of what is the motivation behind the food you are eating. Because if we are eating food from that emotion, right, even though it may feel good for a bit, it will amplify more of that emotion, more of the emotions that you used it for, that got you into getting the food in the first place. So if you are eating food because of boredom and you eat that food, you felt good for a while, but maybe an hour or so you feel bored again, like it won't resolve that, right? So that is why knowing the emotions behind your choices really matters when it comes to food. And it's not even about like even restricting ourselves even more. It's not even about just healing our relationship with food even more. Sometimes it comes to like asking bigger questions in our life, such as, are you really fulfilled with what you are doing in your life? Are you really fulfilled with your life purpose? Are you really happy where you are right now in your life, right? It could actually resolve those unhealthy eating issues. So if you are actually doing something that you really, really love, enjoy, and love life, and it's so blissful, then it's easy to also feel love for our bodies as well, and we make more aligned choices when it comes to food as well. And the same thing comes to our money, how we spend our money, how we use our money. So most people think that most people also spend money the same way as we eat food. So sometimes people get into addiction cycles of buying more things with money, right? You're not using it in investment that actually builds yourself. So as in the first place, the one where I told you is where you are investing in aligned choices, aligned coaches, aligned mentors, like investments that really build who you are, really build your intrinsic value even more, right? Really help you realize your potential even more. There are those choices. However, there are also choices that you can make with your money that are not necessarily healthy for you, such as, spending money on some addiction that you have, or lots of like fast fashion, or something that is happening coming from a place of just like where you're buying from a place of not necessarily abundance or overflow, but because you are feeling those emotions of boredom, of fear, of guilt, of shame, of any of those negative emotions, right? It could also be linked to how you buy food, can also be linked to how you buy other things in your life, therefore how you spend the money. So that is how you can find the motivation of what is really behind every action that you do. So that is the second way, right? The first way is how the emotion of abundance actually amplifies more of that abundance in both, whether it is food, or whether food and your fitness journey, or whether it is your wealth and your entrepreneurial journey. And the third way of how food is so related to money is the emotions behind them. So for food, the emotion of how you eat food, right, can also be linked to how you also invest your money, how you also earn money. So some examples of feeling when it comes to food is most people just eat food as food. We just think it as, oh, it's just a job that we just do it for our bodies, therefore you just like quickly just do it and get it done. But the truth is, we can actually amplify more of the energy that we have in our bodies when we feel gratitude before even eating food. Like gratitude, so thankful that, oh my god, the food is so delicious and it's going to support my body and my health. And also, like, I talked about it in another live video, this thing called merging, where you merge with your current reality with your dream, future, desired reality. So for example, if you're eating a food that you really love and you also desire to eat it in the future, then you can still eat the same food right now. So if you were to eat, like, let's say I love dragon fruits, and if I'm eating a dragon fruit right now, I can be like, oh my god, like this is how it is like to eat a dragon fruit when I'm creating this much success in my business. Like this is the same feeling. Like you can embody the same feelings right now in your body through food, and that is so powerful. Such a powerful manifestation tool too. And whether you believe it in manifestation or not, it will amplify your energy so much. Just your pure intention of eating food. And the same way is also how you can treat the same way when it comes to money. So before you even spend it, let's say even grocery shopping or anything, like on your credit card, what I have been doing is I've been like putting a smiley face on it. And every time I spend money, I'm like, yes, like having so much pleasure in my body as I am doing that. Like I'm feeling so thankful and gratitude that there is abundance. There is, even if it's just a few $1,000s in your bank account, you can be thankful. And when we are thankful, it actually amplifies more and more of it. We are opening ourselves to receiving even more. So the same goes in your food. You can be grateful, right? We can associate them with such powerful, positive emotions. And the same in your money journey as well. We can start feeling more grateful. And when we're doing it, we can sit back and reflect on what our past emotions have been. We have, as human beings, we have experienced so much generational trauma, right? When it comes to either money or when it comes to either food. So in food, especially for us women, there is like shaming, when we eat lots of food, like there can be shaming around them. Food can be associated with like trying to blunt boredom, trying to blunt emotions. Like maybe it gives us a time to reflect back on what we have been associating, what stories have we been attaching to food. And likewise, the same for the money. We can look at what emotions we have been attaching to our money journey. Is it like from a scarcity, that money is hard to earn, money is something traumatizing, like we have to work really hard to get money, like money doesn't grow on trees? Like what kind of stories are you attaching yourself to? Like you can, the way of how you reprogram your mindset around money or around food are very similar ways on how you can reprogram our mind around that. And the next part, so I've gone 3 parts, and the next part is around boundaries. We can set up boundaries, right? Whether it is your money or your food. So for example, in food, I set up boundaries that I am not going to eat trans fat in my diet, or limit my saturated fats in your diet, because they're really bad for your health. They can make you more prone to having like coronary heart diseases, lots of heart problems, lots of obesity problems and things like that. So you can set boundaries around your food too, or you can set boundaries like, okay, my boundary is no more than 3 ice cream a week or something like that, right? It can be healthy for us women, for us as powerful creatrix goddesses that we are, to have that. Yes, Lex, and very easy to do it. Yes. Thank you so much for your support, my loves. That's awesome that your leg training is going super duper well. Yes. And then we can set up boundaries around food, right? Boundaries around what to do. And the same for the money. We can set up boundaries. Like we can set up a boundary, let's say no less than $3,000 in your bank account or something like that. It can actually be healthy. It can actually support us to in our growth journeys even more. Right? It's not just about spending money recklessly. As I said before, it is more about making aligned choices, whether it comes to food or whether it comes to money. When you make aligned actions, it will help us be richer, be more healthier, be more powerful in every way that we can. And then also the last thing that I wanted to share with you is, okay, I took notes. Oh, and then you can also raise your standards around money, right? I think that especially if you're on an entrepreneurial journey, you can resonate to this a lot. Like for your money journey, let's say, right? There is no actual set limit on, especially in the coaching realm, like how much you can charge. But sometimes like we may start with like a really small, like when we just start out, but eventually we grow bigger and bigger. And like that, it is an energetic exchange. Money is just an energetic exchange. It's about how much energy, where you feel like it is abundant, but also you feel like, it activates you, and it also activates the person who is receiving it, who is paying that amount. So we can actually raise our standards. There are coaches who charge, $1,000 for a month, or like $3,000 for a month, or $5,000, even $5,000 for a month, or $10K for a month of coaching. Like it is all about it is not necessarily about like comparing ourselves with what's on the market, but really about, if we raise our prices and if we just have even higher standards, then we also live up to it. We live up to embodying that person who is like giving that much value. And therefore it's not just about, raising our prices. It's also about raising your standard, also your customer or your client standard, right? It's raising all our standards. So just like that, in the money realm, it is an energy of like raising our confidence and raising our standards. And the same for your food as well. We can raise our standards. Like let's say it is all a choice. It is all an internal decision. Like about money is also an internal decision. How rich you want to be, especially if you're an entrepreneur, like if you have a goal, it is an internal choice on whether you decide to pursue it or not. And likewise for our food as well, it is an internal choice, and you can choose to, like on this beautiful spectrum of all the food that exists on the earth, it is your choice to choose what foods activates you. What food is it that you are so excited about? What is the food that is so delicious, so juicy, and so radiant, and it would activate you so much? It is all an internal choice and an internal decision, and it is all about up-leveling your energy. Yes. What types of protein? Fish is the best food. Protein and fish. So the question here is, what type of protein or fish is the best food? As far as protein choices, I would recommend salmon, or tuna, but salmon I prefer salmon most of the time because it has a high omega-3 amount, and especially if you're a gym goer and you like, you know, gaining muscle, and if you love gaining muscle, like leaning out, right, losing that body fat, like, because salmon has more omega-3 content, it is one of the best choices when it comes to fish, because it has a high of them. And then for let's say for men, it is around like 3 grams of omega-3 a day. I think maybe stick between like 2 to 3 grams of omega-3 a day, and it can help you much more when it comes to gaining muscle mass and also leaning up, losing body fat. So yeah, thank you so much. That's a great question. But really, like, when it comes to food choices, it is not necessarily about eating just one big source, one type of food the whole year. It is not about that, but it is more about switching up sometimes and having such a variety and abundant spectrum of it, because like some foods may have higher omega-3 and protein, right? But some other food, I think tuna has like more iron. So sometimes, like, in order for us to not miss out the blend of micronutrients, all the essential nutrients, essential vitamins, and essential minerals, it is so important that we are having a blend, a wide variety of it, so that we're not missing out on each of them, and therefore we're not having deficiency problems. And it is those, if we have deficiency in any of those nutrients, it can be a health issue as well. So that is why my philosophy when it comes to like giving diet advice or the food, it's all about tapping into that abundance in terms of amount, abundance in terms of variety. And the same with the money as well. As we talked about it, it's all about stepping into the power of abundance and making abundant, aligned choices and making powerful decisions when it comes to our money, because aligned choices, aligned investment, all make us grow, all make us more abundant. So yes, abundant in the food, abundant in the wealth, abundant in everything. And that is what I wish for all of the beautiful people who watch this video here, and also all the entrepreneurial soulpreneur goddesses that I am serving here. So thank you so much for tuning into today's live with me and being present with me here. It is such an honor for me to be in this presence and be speaking here to you. So thank you, my loves. I love you all, and I'll see you on the next video.